Hi, my name is Grant Perry. I'm here with Piali Banerjee. Do you want to say hi, Piali?
Hello.
Hi. So we worked on the device finder project. Um, this, at a high level, thank you, is looking for devices that have been distributed to patients. So background behind the project goals, we are looking to identify devices that match certain characteristics. Um, with the a primary use case of this being for perhaps a device recall when there's been a safety issue or problem identified with a device, or also just for post-market surveillance. Um, Maybe we're looking for patients to participate in a research study or something of that nature. A lot of times we'll maybe be looking for a certain type of device, maybe based off of a manufacturer, um, um, a certain device code or something like that. So we're looking for a centralized way where a user could go and search based off of that device characteristic and find patients. Um, and then kind of the next step of that process is how can we contact those patients? So again, if we're looking at a device recall, we need to notify those patients and take the appropriate next steps. So how can we get some of that information that we need to contact those patients? Let's go to the next slide. So how our team divided this project up. Um, so for the ultimate goal of creating this web application where a user could enter this in a Smart on Fire enabled app and query a Fire database. So Piali mostly handled the backend work, doing the query with the Fire database. Um, for our test demo, creating and managing the test data sets, the scripts that we need to create our test data and make a realistic demo, and also processing and retrieving the patient demographic information that we need to display to be able to contact the patients. And then myself, Grant, I handled the front end of the web page, the graphical and table display of the results that you'll see, and then also downloading the results to the CSV file. So kind of a back end and front end split. Next slide. Yeah, so research as we approach this problem, um, looking both in some industry background and also the technology pieces. What do we need to know before we tackle this? So looking at what is the process for device recall? Again, our primary use case of this application. How do all of the different pieces tie into this? The FDA, the healthcare organization, um, even insurance companies, device companies, how do they work together to communicate those cases and reach these patients? What's the current state of device documentation practices and electronic medical records? With that being today the primary place for where those are currently documented. What are expectations for how those are in place today, and what are the gaps there? The medical device industry as a whole, and especially the direct-to-consumer market as that market grows, and um, keeping an eye on the future for where this could be. How do we contact patients when maybe they have a device affected by a recall that wasn't given to them by a provider? How do the device companies know to reach these patients? And then also on the technical pieces, what is the Fire API capable of? Um, Even the details of how do the search criteria work when we're trying to search for these patients? Next slide. Okay, and
Okay.
then yeah, Fiala will take over the demo.
Yeah. So for the demo, if you click on the app URL link that's given in the final submission for the project, it'll take you to the application homepage. This is our homepage for the device finder application. And on the left side here, you see that there's several available criteria, including manufacturer, expired devices only, and this option will only show you results of devices that have expired. And then there's the device status, which could be active, inactive, etc. And these are official Fire status codes. And then there's also device name and also device type code. And for the code, this is typically the code of the device in a source such as SNOMED, for example. And we'll show you an example of that in a second. So say that I want to find some devices that match a certain manufacturer. say we can use GE Healthcare as an example. And we want to group results by manufacturer in this case, but there's several other groupings that's possible, such as device type and expiration date, etc. So let's say I want to group results by device type. And you click Run Search. So here, after the search is complete, you see that the query that was made is displayed at the top where we searched for GE Healthcare being the manufacturer. And there's also a resulting table over here that includes all of the patients on this first column. And notice the scroll bar functionality as well. And the associated devices, which includes several information about the device, such as the device type, which includes the source for the code. In this case, it's a SNOMED code with the code number itself, as well as the manufacturer, device lot number, serial number, which helps with tracking, and also the device status, as well as the expiration date and phone number and address of the patient. There's also a summary section over here, a summary bar chart that recall that we have grouped this by device type code. And so the device type codes are over here, and you can see that there are 6 devices with this code and 1 device with each of these codes is shown here. And there's also a download results button over here. If, for example, you're a clinical researcher and you want to download the results to contact these patients with their phone number or address, you could just click download results and it will download a CSV file that looks like this. So once you're done with this search, if you want to make a new search, there's also a new search button that takes you directly back to the application homepage where you can conduct another search. One last example that we can share is the expired devices only. So for example, if we do the same search with GE Healthcare, I can add another criteria. So I add this expired devices only criteria. And if you click this checkbox and run the search, then this will show a shorter list of devices because these are the devices that have passed the expiration date. And we check that by comparing with the current date. So you'll see that all of these expiration dates have passed. So going back to the presentation. For our project status, we have completed all of the test cases have passed. We've completed the application as we have just demonstrated. And here's the Gantt chart. And for future plans, there are a few things that we would like to explore further. First, we can add potentially more search criteria to add the ability to search for patient attributes, for example. So currently we only search for some device attributes, but we can expand this further. Additionally, we can have direct communication with the patients to enable physicians to communicate with patients, for example, when their devices are faulty or have expired. And then there could also be a potential device replacement feature, which would enable automated device replacement requests for expired or faulty devices. And additionally, an integrated device code search functionality, which would allow the physician or clinical researcher to search for the device type codes much faster. Thank you so much. Again, we are Piali and Grant, and our TA advisor was Raj. Thank you so much, Raj, for your help. And yep, this was our project.
Thank you.